Okay, so I wanted to show what all went on whenever I melted this piece to make this piece. And I'm going to use the other half of that hunk and just do it all over again. Maybe I'll come up with a better one than that, but I don't think so. So all I did, I got out the old Black & Decker heat gun, turned it on low. You want to get the piece ready that you're going to be bending over, because once this gets to the temperature, you're going to want to work fast because it cools down fast. So the other one, there is a little bit of shrinkage that happens, but I do this until it starts to kind of sag. And once it see how it's kind of sagging there on the corners? Stick that over there. No, that ain't enough. You got a little bit of that size, but okay, she's starting to curl on her own. Here we go again. There we go. See that sag and curl? Hold that on there and endure the pain of modeling, because that's hot. It's not anymore. It was only hot for a couple seconds. Okay, so once that cools down, there you go. You got the radius that you need. Okay, we're back. So, the engine is in place, and the bottom is secured down so that we know that's the height that the chassis is going to be at. Both touch pins are touching on the front, so we know that that's where the front level is going to be. So it's safe to glue the engine in, knowing that later on, once we put the chassis back in, it's not going to bump up against this and cause us any problems. So this piece will be, I'm going to wait till after it's glued before I fit that piece. That's why there's no slop. What I'm going to do is glue it with some super glue up on top in places that it touches. I'll give that a little while to dry, then I'll flip it over and fill in on the bottom with probably strips of styrene to provide a backing, because I'll come in with milliput and fill in all those gaps. But I've got to have something underneath there, otherwise it's just going to push through and fall on the bottom. So, move in the glue stand, which I still haven't made a wooden one yet. I'm still kind of proofing whether I like this one or not. If I could remember to keep the zip kicker, no, the Insta set there, it would be a complete unit. So I'm using the thin super glue so that it'll creep down into the cracks and crevices, and it only really touches back here. And I'm going to use one of these pointy Q-tips because I don't want tons of glue in my way later on when it's time to sand. So it's been a long time coming getting this engine in here. I had the idea for this model, I bet it was probably 6 years ago. And I bought the model at an auction. It wasn't a model auction, it was just a general auction. and the glass is boogered up on it. And there was something else wrong with it. Someone else had already started it, and there might have been something going on with the back portion of the hood. So, so I came up with this idea to, you know, to have a reason to continue on with this model. And I'd been playing a lot of Fallout at the time, I guess. There's a pretty big gap there. And since I've got the super glue out, I'll fill it up. It takes a long time for super glue to dry when it's not being pressed in between something like that. It's not as instant. When I'm filling the gap, I'll add some baking soda to it. That gives something for the glue to grab onto. It makes it tough as nails for sanding, though. You got to keep that in mind because it's way harder than the plastic. Alright, so those spots are glued. I'm going to let them cure up, and then it'll be safe to take this back apart and start reinforcing it from the bottom and getting that in there to be a permanent thing. But this is like the first look I'm getting of it, and I'm liking it. It sticks up a bit higher than what I kind of intended it to, but I mean, it's a ridiculous project, so it can be ridiculous here and there. I do have an idea to perhaps put a fin on the top. Maybe like that. Ooh, kind of like that. I must say, from just eyeballing that, that's a pretty good radius cut there. Let me put some tape on that. This might be a thing. You know, this might kind of duplicate this hump here so that it gives it more of a unity, so it flows a little better, even though this is about the same height as that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. For now, the focus is still on getting the engine in there permanently.
Ah, Ted.